The 9 Years Podcast.
Alright, thank you for downloading episode 42 of the 9 Years Podcast. If you are listening to us on iTunes, a little bit of a shout out, or reminder I should say, just click that little 5-star rating review for us, help boost our profile. But thank you very much if you're following us on YouTube or Podomatic.com as well. We are counting down. We are on the final stretch, a couple of days away from kickoff in the playoffs. The first time a Wimbledon side has ever featured in a Football League playoff. We have the visit of Accrington on Saturday. Stu, last week we talked about nerves and whether we'd be able to stomach it. I'm not sure if I can. I know we weren't meant to be here. I know we've overachieved. We weren't expecting to get into playoffs, but now we're here. And the chance of, as Kelly Dalglish said on the Football League show this week, or last week I should say, 3 games away of playing Milton Keynes next season, all of a sudden it becomes very real, and the opportunity, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity of being in League One next season.
Yeah, I was chatting to you probably about a week or so ago, and I was saying the similar things of where we sort of like said we weren't expecting to get to the playoffs. It's the bonus games and enjoy the ride. I just don't know how you can enjoy the ride because we're all competitive people. Football's a game about dreams and emotion, and now we're in the playoffs. You don't really want to go in there just for the journey and lose. You really want to win, and that puts your own pressure on. So, yeah, I was watching the games from Saturday earlier, and you have to feel for people like Accrington, but you also saw the last 8 nerves and things that teams that weren't doing, they were doing, and you can just sort of sense that we've got that to come up for about times 10 in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the Accrington game more, obviously, this week, later in the show. We're also going to invite Paul Raymond, Jane Lonsdale and Ray Armfield back on to discuss our predictions. As you remember a few weeks ago, well, it was actually a couple of months ago really now, after the York City game, where we all sat down and went through how we thought the season would finish off, and we're going to review those today and see how, well, I should say, right some of us were, Stu, and how wrong the rest of us were, basically.
You know me, Nick, I'm not one to gloat or anything like that. It was just pure luck that I guessed we were going to win every game.
Yeah, we didn't quite win every game, let's be fair. But we did indeed, you were correct, we did actually end up in the playoff positions, and we have ended up in the playoffs. So we'll invite those guys back on shortly. Obviously, we'll look back at the Newport game in a moment. We've got birthdays and stickers as well this week. Our regular features. I suppose let's very quickly start with looking back at that Newport game from Saturday. Bear with me. I think I've managed to get this. Toyosi. No, it's gone. Osunya. Is that how I pronounce it? I'm really bad. But anyway, he came on. He made his debut. Came on as a substitute. Wins a penalty. Scores a penalty. Great moment. Great moment in front of the Kenflo end on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's. I've seen Tosi. I must be. I was always told. When I was under 21s, they always call him. Well, a lot of them call him T, which is probably not surprising, or Tosi. But I've seen a lot of under 21s, and was really happy that he got his chance. Yeah, he's direct. He's very raw. He's got a lot to work on, but he's got the raw ability, raw pace that you like him forwards, and a low centre of gravity as well. So nice for him to get the penalty. Great gesture from Barry Fuller and Akin Fenwood to give him the ball, and he didn't really look at nervous, Nick, did he? When he went to put, I've seen more nervous players this season with penalties than he was.
Well, it was no run up, was it? It was like 2-step run up, side foot into the bottom corner. It was like it was nothing to him.
Yeah, there was no nerves at all, was there? It was really. You have to say that's also good temperament. You have to think, because that must be quite nerve wracking. We had a 4,427 exactly in the ground, and that's a way to make your debut, isn't it?
Absolutely, and he looked very lively. Do you know what? Sometimes that's the first time I've seen him, obviously, and you get a feeling of a player. I think sometimes, and his touch and his movement. When I looked at him, I thought, there's a lot of potential here. This looks like a real talent here.
Definitely, and from what I understand, he wasn't part of he wasn't. Not many people know much about him. To be fair, I've sort of dug in a little bit, just maybe on 21s, and he was part of an academy last year I think he was on trial. He got invited down, took a look at him, and he was playing under 18s, obviously as part of the FA Cup, the FA Youth Cup. And he's probably played, I've seen him in probably about 4 or 5 under 21 games, seen him up against some really big, strong defenders, and they don't like the look of him. So, let's hope he has a good summer, build him up. He's got to get a bit stronger. And you never know, we can probably push Adi Aziz, and obviously George Oakley's got another year in his contract. So we've got some interesting talent down there at the moment.
It was, of course, the highlight of Saturday's game, which was, to be fair, for an end of season, not really much hinging on the game sort of fixture. Newport, nothing to play for ourselves, just looking further ahead. It was actually a pretty decent game. We bossed it for large periods. I think some reports about chances being few and far between was a little bit unfair. I think we had more than enough chances in both halves. I think Bayo, Akinfenwa up front, had enough chances for himself to score a hat-trick, hit the post. Keeper's made a couple of good saves, he's had a couple over. But it was an entertaining fixture. Not, as I say, not your typical end of season, more like pre-season feel because of the temperature and all things like that. So it was fairly entertaining. We got the goal. The two main things, I think, aside from obviously Toyosi scoring his goal in his debut, we'll start with the positive. The number of academy graduates that were involved. I think at one stage we had 5 on the pitch.
Yeah, really encouraging, wasn't it? It's what I wanted to see. Especially, I think, let's be fair, our future is very much dependent on what academy guys we can get through. That's going to supplement our squad and then allow our wage structure to then be competitive because of that. And yeah, when you look at people like Dave Fitzpatrick, who's worked hard latter end of the season, Tom Beer, fresh from a championship medal in the Ryman Prem, he got into the game, which I was really pleased at. You've got to look at obviously Will Nightingale and Ryan Sweeney. It's sometimes difficult to remember their academy products because they're so big, aren't they? You think the size of them, they just look like nice street bouncers, don't they? Sort of like centre halves, but they complement each other really well. And then, yes, of course, Toyosi came off the bench. So, really pleasing. I think that's what we wanted. It's interesting what you say about a pre-season sort of feel to it. I wonder whether we probably enjoyed the game a bit more purely for the fact that we know what's coming next week. I imagine for Newport fans, that was probably torture watching through that.
There wasn't a lot in it for Newport, in all fairness to them. They didn't really offer much. And they're going to have a massive clear-out, I imagine, over the summer. Really, I think they've only got a couple of players under contract for next season, so could be all change there. So it seemed maybe the final or last hurrah for a number of those players playing yesterday. Other story, of course, Connor Smith, really bad injury. Now, at the time of recording, we haven't heard any more, I don't think, other than we know that he was taken to St George's Hospital for, what's the word I'm looking for? Assessment, really, of sort of head and neck injuries and things like that. And we just wish him all the best. I think he was up and he was talking and he was moving. So the early signs are, all good. I think everyone was just being extra careful, very, very cautious with him following the clash of heads. Man of the match poll on Twitter, 4 candidates put forward this week: Bayo Akinfenwa, Barry Fuller, Will Nightingale and Ryan Sweeney, as you've alluded to there with the centre-half pairing, of which I might just add on that one that the biggest compliment I think I can play Ryan Sweeney is the fact that I forget he's there. I get so nervous watching him. But you know what? By second half, I was like, oh yeah, Sweeney's playing. I think that's a massive compliment, you know what I mean? But anyway, so far the voting as it stands, Bayo Akinfenwa was going to walk this one. He's got 71% of the votes as it stands. And he was great. He really was great on Saturday. And you think a motivated Bayo, possibly looking for the final run of games as a Wimbledon player over the next month, could have a hand to play in the playoffs.
Just to say there with Bayo, it's difficult to... You can't help read things into certain ways, but one thing I've noticed about Bayo, Steve, is when he come on, and yesterday, is just how relaxed he looks. As if, and you can read it a couple of ways. You could be a factor of he's enjoying the fact that it's the end of the season, it's the playoffs. The last playoffs he was involved in, he didn't get on. I don't think he got on at Wembley when Northampton were there, and I know he wasn't. I don't think it was the pleasing day that he wanted. So you wonder whether sometimes it's a case that he's just generally happy looking forward to it, or he actually realises maybe this is his swan song with Wimbledon and wants to enjoy every bit of moment, because he was definitely up for a bit of a laugh, wasn't he, on Saturday, and he's in frightening form all of a sudden. I don't know where that's come from, but it does give us another bearing in mind with Tom Elliott, I think, has dropped off a little bit on his effectiveness for the last couple of games. It gives Newhardly a real selection dilemma whether he goes with Tom Elliott or whether he goes, do you know what, Bowers put a great performance in there, why not give him a chance? It's a great dilemma, but one that I'd rather have.
You mentioned there how he was up for a bit of a laugh on Saturday. Obviously, after the game, all the awards were handed out for the end of season. And let's run you through those. Junior Don's Player of the Year went to Lyle Taylor, no surprise there. Young Player of the Year went to Adebayo Aziz. The official fans Player of the Year vote went to Paul Robinson. And then the Players Player of the Year actually went to Barry Fuller. Of course, the other big award on Saturday was the 9 Years Podcast Goal of the Season award. Won, somewhat unsurprisingly, I would suggest, by Jake Reeves with, 74% of votes in the end?
It was, yeah.
So, yeah, by a landslide. His injury time winner against York back in March. We caught up with Jake to present him with the award. Pictures are on all our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, if you want to have a search for those. But we caught up with him before the game on Saturday. Had a very, very quick chat about his goal and what he thinks about the playoffs. And here's what Jake had to say. So we're here with Jake Reeves. We're just presenting him with his Goal of the Season award. In the end, I think you won with 74% of the votes for your goal against York City. The injury time winner against York, we won 2-1 back in March, I think.
Yep.
What are your memories of the goal?
I just remember the ball coming out of the sky, Lyle running at me, trying to get the ball himself as he normally does. And then, I just thought, there's not long left, you might as well have a crack and chest it down. It set up nice, and obviously we know the rest. And luckily enough, it went in.
If you were to do that 100 times, how many times do you reckon it ends up in the top corner?
In the top corner?
Like yeah.
I reckon about 98.
Yeah.
Probably go in, yeah?
Yeah, I reckon. Maybe 97. We look back on that now, we look back on that sort of pivotal moment for us in terms of getting 3 points on that day, really keeping our momentum going towards the playoffs, which has helped us then finish up in 7th place. Do you feel like that was a really important point in our season?
Yeah, we've touched on it before, some of us, and I think I can't remember the actual run of games, but we had a couple of bad results, didn't we? And we were sort of looking more down in the dumps, and obviously it was a game we really should have bossed it, really should have won quite comfortably. And it was 1-1, and we found ourselves looking down the barrel again, always run in, but there's points dropped, and maybe that was a bit of fate that the goal went in. Luckily enough, here we are still now.
So your goal won ahead of Lyle Taylor. Lyle Taylor come third against Northampton. The goal went in the top corner. Yeah. And Tom Elliott's up at Notts County. Yeah. You've probably not seen it, Tim, but out of your goals, what was your goal this season? Taking away your blinder.
I personally think Tom Elliott should have won it. Personally, I think obviously everything about my goal with the last minute winning, the whole atmosphere at home, probably just top tier. But personally, I think the technique and everything, I was right behind Tom Elliott's one. He was running away from the actual goal. He's not running direct on, and he's half followed it straight into the top corner at pace. I thought that was best done, personally.
Well, to be fair, yours did win by miles. To be fair, it's like 74%. My vote personally was Danny Bourne's up at Accrington with a reverse ball. Good. I think when we look back at it, we got 10 goals. Actually, we could have got 20. Yeah. We have scored some quality goals this season. Yeah. That's right. Sort of going into today then. It's a free game really. This one. How are you looking forward to the playoffs?
Oh yeah, we can't wait. Obviously, we've still got a game today. Do a professional job as we will. I think the gaffer probably might rest a few people, keep their legs fresh, and give other people that haven't played a bit of game time, which would be good. Everyone's going to be needed for the playoffs. But we're confident, we're happy, which is the main thing. We're all smiling. We're not looking down on it as a daunting prospect. We're all looking forward to it. And
do you mind who you play? Do you really care who you play?
Me personally, I couldn't care less who we play. We're in the playoffs. We played them all. I think we can beat all of them on our day, especially I fancy us over 2 games. So yeah, no, I'm not bothered.
And you're looking forward to being involved next Saturday?
Of course. Yeah, well, first and foremost looking forward to today, get today out of the way, and then obviously looking forward to hopefully playing in the playoffs.
Thank you. Well, Jake, a deserved winner of our first award.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So welcome back to the podcast, Paul Raymond, Jane Lonsdale and Ray Armfield. Before we begin our little chat looking back over our predictions that we did after the York game a few weeks back, about 10 games before the end of the season, Jane, I think there's something you just have to say to the listening public.
I do, that I am speaking on behalf of myself and not on behalf of the Dom's Trust. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Anyone else want to put some disclaimers in? Stu just generally apologises for being Stu.
I'm not really stupid all the time, trust me.
Can we have a quick vote on on that one.
Well, unanimous.
Yeah, unanimous.
Not to mention that I'm a worse pundit than Clinton Morrison now.
Well, that's what we're going to look.
One as well, more than happy everyone else don't break because you didn't think we were going to be anywhere near the playoffs.
This is true. Yes.
Yeah, we are. I'm not sure this is going to reflect particularly well on a few of us looking back over our predictions. I must say, for some of us, Stu, it is fairly fortunate that you always predict us to win, no matter what. So that's actually worked in your favour for once. I must also say before we get to this, we are recording through Facebook Messenger today. So we're seeing what the sound will be like. Okay, so bear with us. Might be patchy in places, but it's sounding all right at the moment. So Stu, this was sort of your idea to bring us all back together then for this show. How do you think of this going to be working?
Yeah, I just thought it would be a good idea to sort of catch up now we sort of qualify for the playoffs. We had a really good podcast sort of going through predictions, and we all had different views, and some of us sort of obviously a bit more optimistic than others and stuff like that. So thought it'd be a good opportunity. So what I'm going to quickly do, I've been looking through, I'm going to call it New Hardy's stat corner, because everyone knows New Hardy does the stats. And really just go through some of the previous playoffs and really where we are and where Accrington are. So even though we think that we sort of like dead crash the playoffs, we've done really well. We've been in the top 10 now since our 4-1 win at Cambridge, and not been out of the top 7th now for 35 rounds since our game with Plymouth. So we're not doing too bad. Accrington, however, though, have not been lower than 8th since their 4-2 win in September against Exeter. So I think now sort of looking ahead for Accrington, even though they're going to be a little bit despondent after Saturday's events, their form is quite scary when you look at it. So I'm not going to try and press too much. But in terms of, if we're looking at the first leg at our place, we have to be aware that Accrington have only conceded 18 goals away from home and have kept 9 clean sheets. So they're pretty impressive, and they won their last 5 games. Statistically, they're doing very well. If we look at the playoffs as a whole, we're in quite good nick in terms of the team that's finished 7th in the last 6 years have got promoted. So the last one was Bradford City in 2012. That was a year that Gillingham went up with Rotherham and Port Vale. Bradford City only has 69 points when you actually look back at that year, so what we finished on 75. So Bradford in the end didn't really get anywhere near our points total. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily. The last time the team went 4th actually got promoted was Fleetwood Town. That was in 2013. But if you look past that, the last time there was 4th that actually got up was, believe it or not, Stockport County back in 2007. So it sort of showed you how long ago that was, really. So bearing that in mind, Ray, how are you looking forward to the playoffs now after your predictions previously?
Well, mine were terrible, so I'm obviously very, very happy about those. I think we're coming into them in a very good place. I know you've said already how good momentum-wise 7th spot is when you're going for a playoff place, but while you can't hand-pick your opponents, I think most of us are probably quite pleased in some ways to get Accrington, because I don't quite buy all this, we're a poor team, we've got no budget, we've got no fans. I mean, they've got a newish owner in Andy Holt who's sunk almost £2 million into the club, and that's enabled them to sign several players on longish term deals through to 2018. Those sort of deals are ones which we can't even think about.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I think he's the company that actually owns. They called it the Wham Stadium, haven't they, up there?
That's it, yeah, and he's Mr. Wham, apparently.
He's Mr. Wham.
What George will call him.
The Andrew Ridgely role.
We'll get him started on Andrew Ridgely. It's a very good show.
I think Ray must it. But it's interesting what you say, though, Ray, because I sort of pulled out. I know that Eric normally goes on his program about the wages and where we sit. And I think if I remember properly, it was 14th that we sat. It'd be interesting to see where the Accrington sat within that.
Yeah, I think you can never tell who I wouldn't say tells the truth, but who's perhaps accurate in terms of the budget figures which other people look at. But I mean, we know what football's like. It's not, budget equals a certain league space. It's what you do with it, what your manager does with it, and the sort of players that you can bring in. So it's not all about budget. Otherwise, we wouldn't bother every year.
Definitely. So, Paul, going back to our we did this after the York game, didn't we? We were all
we did.
Diction-wise, have you able to tell us who got closest?
Who got closest? Well, it was quite interesting because if we take Ray out of the equation, because he thought we'd only get 15 more points, which at the time would have left us on 68, which would have obviously been, was it 69 became playoff team that finished 8?
Yeah, Bradford were on 69 points, I think, yeah.
So, amongst everyone else, we all sort of predicted in different ways between 20 and 23 points. So, Nick, you thought we'd get 20 points. I thought 21. Stu, 22 points. And Jane predicted 23 points. But we ended up getting 22 points. So, Stu, you can take the credit. But the thing of note was that nobody thought we would win against Plymouth or Jane thought we'd beat Wickham, but no one else thought we'd beat Wickham or Plymouth, and that was obviously some huge points that we picked up there to secure the places.
So the swing that otherwise we thought would be there wasn't there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because we did. So who was it that actually thought we'd actually finish in 7th place when all predictions were in?
Stu had us finishing, I think, higher than first.
Yeah.
A couple of days, I think we thought Northampton personally.
I'm just trying to think. I haven't got that to hand. Ray was outside the club. Jane, you were just outside, weren't you?
I can't remember. I really can't remember.
Yeah.
In my head, it was all. It wasn't. But at the beginning of the season, I said 11th.
Yeah.
And that's kind of stuck in my head, so I don't know what these predictions where that would have left us.
Yeah, I have a feeling, Jane, you might have had us. I think Paul actually. It might be Paul and Stu had us finishing in the playoff positions, where the rest of us thought we'd just miss out.
Yeah.
I think I had us 6. Stu had us in 5th place.
Yeah.
And Ray and I had us in like 12th.
But then Stu said we wouldn't lose another game.
I wasn't far off that, was I? I don't know what it was, actually.
No, I think it was only Hartlepool, was it, that we lost?
Hartlepool.
And Portsmouth. Yeah.
Oh, well. Only 3 hours.
So not far off.
In terms of what I was going to say as well, I just remembered here, playoffs are not a new thing. I forgot this, I must admit, but I forgot that Accrington actually qualified for the playoffs back in 2010-2011 season. They got to Stevenage 3-0, and anyone looking now for some real sort of like links and some even more positive news than what we feel, our own Darius Charles was involved in both games against Stevenage, and Stacey Long, believe it or not, a name from the old, scored the opening goal. They won 2-0 at home, and then they won 1-0 away at Accrington, who finished the game with 9 men that day. So I think it all kicked off, and reading the report, it was all down to Darius Charles, which really doesn't surprise me a little bit. So how are we all looking forward to the first day? Do we think, bearing in mind how Accrington probably don't see too many, and we lost 3-0, are we reasonably confident on what they are called our cabbage mix at the moment? Jane, how are we feeling?
Yeah, I think the game itself, I think it'll be really cagey. Yeah, I think it'll be really cagey. I think Accrington are demoralised right now. They've got, the manager's done it before. He's been knocked out from this stage before, and then he's had to get himself and his players back into it. He's going to have to do the same again right now. It's a big ask. They've gone from 2nd to 4th in days where they were guaranteed a spot, and now they're not. That's got to affect them mentally. Physically they're all great, but mentally it's a problem. I think we're in a really good position. We've got a big squad. We saw that yesterday. We saw that we were able to bring on a whole load of youth and it was great to be able to do that. So I think we're in a good position, and we're the underdogs, and never, ever, ever say the underdogs won't do something.
And it is the year of the underdog, isn't it? It's the year of obviously Leicester getting through, Burton qualified and gone through to the Championship. Who would have pulled out when they left us in League Two? Ray, do you buy, in terms of manager Accrington, sort of, Newhart sort of going on the line of that he's a good manager, here get him up, here get him ready. Do you believe that? Do you think it's been quite a massive hit they received on Saturday? Do you think they will be able to just go back into playoffs with a fresh focus?
I don't think it's automatic, if you'll pardon the pun, but it is a massive blow for them because, as you say, they have been so close, and it was minutes away when Bristol Rovers scored their last gasp goal. Can you get them back up mentally? Maybe. I think just moving on a bit, I'm quite happy that we've got the second leg away from home. I think that will suit us because perhaps, unless we're ridiculously adrift, which I don't see us from the first leg, I think if we're still in it in the second leg, there's an onus for Accrington to sort of come forward at us, being the home team, and I think we could use that to our advantage. I can see us being a good counter-attacking team up there.
No, sorry, Joe, to say, no, I totally agree, and I think having the first leg at home actually gives us an opportunity as well, taking on a team that, no matter what they say, as Jane says, they've fallen from second to fourth in a matter of, 90 minutes. So morale will obviously have taken a hit, and if we can take the game to them from the off at Kings Meadow and get an early goal, there's an opportunity there for us, a big opportunity to get a lead in the first leg, which should see us through the second leg.
I suppose also thinking about it out loud, it'd be interesting what referee we get for the home game.
Yeah, Trevor Kettle.
How long 45 minutes for?
The retired Trevor Kettle. Let's get it right. He's boiled over.
Here we go.
I'll get my coat.
Well, at least the puns are picking up steam.
In all seriousness, do you think Newhartley's a very nice manager if you compare him to people like Sam Allardyce and people like that? But do you think Newhartley may play some little mind games or quickly release the fact that Accrington, if they had got that goal in basically 45 minutes, the referee didn't decide to chalk it off, that point we actually would have put them up automatically, wouldn't it? Do you think we may generally let that leak out that happened and stuff, or did Sky will pick it up?
I think there's so many things to look at Accrington's result of the weekend. It was their first home game this season that they haven't scored in, apparently.
Yes.
Which, sort of when you've got in the mindset of scoring every game and then the one game you need to score in and they fail to do so, it's sort of, as everyone's saying, it must be so demoralising for them. Playoffs don't have the away goal rule, so we haven't got to worry about that one. And something that we've all spoke about over the last few weeks, in that we had that defeat against Portsmouth, whereas before that we'd won 5 in a row, and so we know that we can do that. And we've gone into last couple of games, yesterday's game, where pretty much everyone could get a rest. So we can just go into it as we said earlier, 9-game season. It's now a 3-game season, and we just have to remain unbeaten across 3 games, and then it can even be won on penalties. So if need be, but I think we've got the right mentality. I think we've got the right players. And over the weekend, I got a lift back from a listener of the show. Thank you to Jim Potter. And he was saying it reminds him very much of 2011 season, how we went into the playoffs there on a good run, good side of mentality-wise. And, yeah, I'm feeling confident.
And you're right, it goes back to our last experience of the playoffs. Obviously, we went in loads of form, then went to Fleetwood, beat them 2-0 and then slaughtered back at home. So question really wise, what were your memories of the last playoffs, and what those back in? as you remember, because they were torture, weren't they?
Well, as an aside, my last memory of the Fleetwood playoffs was the fact that because of my work schedule, I couldn't get to the first leg away in Fleetwood. And then, this time round, because of my work schedule, I can't get to Accrington on a midweek. So, thank you very much to Sky for screwing me over. But, aside from that, at least I can make the home game. But, yeah, aside from that, to be honest with you, I think the momentum really for Fleetwood game was, I had no doubt, similar to Accrington actually, I had no doubt that we'll get through the semi-final and we'll get to the final. I wasn't so sure about winning the final last time, and not this time, but I do get that sense that, yeah, just as Paul says, very, very confident going into the two-legged tie. And I really do think we'll do a similar job than we did to Fleetwood. I think we'll get a healthy lead in the first game. I'm not going to suggest we're going to go to Accrington and then beat them the same way we beat Fleetwood in the second leg, but I expect us to get comfortably through. I mean, if we were to run through predictions for each of us now, start with you, Ray. First leg.
Ray, can you predict defeat so that you...
No, I'm going to be fully objective now. I think probably a low scoring draw, goalless or maybe 1-1, but I do fancy this in the second leg though.
Jane?
Yeah, I think the same actually. I think it'll be really cagey the first game, and I think it'll be 0-0, and I think we'll sneak a 1-0 win in the second leg.
Paul?
I will go for a 1-0 at Kings Meadow, and I think we might win 3-1 up at Accrington.
And finally, Stu, now let me think. Is Stu going to predict us to win?
Double figures.
You know what? I seriously think the best time to hit Accrington is while they're down. It's Saturday. No, I think it's Saturday. I think the first leg. I think it's actually the first leg scores. And last year, Plymouth lost 3-2 at home to Wycombe Wanderers. So there are some high scores in the first. I think Accrington are going to be down for this. I think there's an opportunity to get amongst them. I'm going to go probably. I think they will score. I think it'll be 2-1 for us in the first leg. And I think it would be a scoring draw in the replay. Sorry, the second game up there. But it wouldn't surprise me when directly front. They actually do score a lot of goals at home. I know they do score on the weekend, but they do score. But I think when we go there with the league, I think it's time to hit them, get them whilst they're down, and just see what they're made of.
Big question I've got for you, Stu, is how early do you need to arrive at the Crown Ground for the second leg to make sure you get your food from the Crown pub?
You know what was interesting? I was actually chatting to Lorraine about that this morning. We're not too sure, obviously, at time of recording, we're not too sure what the arrangements are yet in terms of travel. You know, we're doing. I think Lorraine and I are going to wait for if there's any coach travel, etc. What the coach travel is going to be. But if not, we're going to drive up. But the Crown Pub does the best food. That's one. When they did get through, I was thinking. I did say to Chris David at the club, I said we can go back to that pub now, Chris. And even he smiled. It's always good to get a smile out of Chris. So, yeah, I think it's probably about, it'd be 7:45, about 5 o'clock, we can have a little nap in the car. Yeah, I think it's really good. The funny thing is, we've got a Saturday night kickoff. It'd be interesting to see what time the club actually open up the bar, because they could technically get a whole day's sales, but not many people that could really stand up by the time the game starts.
Well, we do have a couple of playoffs. It's like a whole day of playoffs, isn't it? I think there's a Championship one at 12:30 and then a League One at 5 or something like that. So, realistically, the club could open the bars at midday and have people sit and watch a whole day of playoffs if they wanted to. But...
I think it's interesting what the club is going to do. Whether they're going to make it, it's difficult to plan stuff so short. We've only known about it for a couple of weeks, haven't we? So, it's difficult, isn't it? But it'd be nice if we can get, this is fair, we only make the money goes through the club, so if they do open the bars, I'm sure we've got enough sensible fans that will not be paralytic and try and enjoy the game. It's an occasion, it's a celebration of us getting to the playoffs, and then 7:30, there's no friends, is there? So.
Cool, Stu. Is there anything you want to add, or is there anything else anyone wants to?
Yeah, I think I just to say prediction-wise, I think this year I was going to wrap up. I think when we went into the playoffs in our conference season, the carrot was a visit to the City of Manchester, which is a lovely stadium. But you just wonder now that, I don't know about you, but for me, that carrot of seeing us at Wembley,
always on about food.
Big. Well, I don't think they're going to sell parrots, but it'd be quite expensive. But do you think that's, I don't know, any, I think now, rather than saying you can get a chance to go and see a match, when you say there's a chance at Wembley, that's got to be a bit push, surely, isn't it, Ray?
Yeah, I think so. I know Accrington's been in one playoff semi-final previously, whereas we've not at this level. But I mean, Wembley's such a massive carrot to dangle in front of people. Whether you're fans or your players, just the word Wembley means you want to be there. The other thing I'll perhaps chuck in the mix here is there's two of the major Accrington players, Windass and Crooks, will be playing their last games for them because they've already signed pre-contract deals with Glasgow Rangers. So I think if they're going to go there in a week's time, and there's a nice juicy 50-50 tackle.
Just an update on that one. Crooks is currently recovering from an operation that he had this week to get him ready for Rangers next season.
I think Windass played yesterday, didn't he? So
yeah, no, Windass is involved.
He's okay.
Crooks.
Right.
Yeah, no, Crooks was tweeting about the operation was very successful. So.
Let me just clarify, he said an operation to get ready for Rangers season rather than
yes.
I love that.
Well, aren't they technically Rangers players and they're on loan?
Yeah, I think
they're
so.
Not yet. No, I think it's 1st of June that they switch on to Rangers deals.
It was a pre-contract, wasn't it?
Yeah, signed in January, I think.
I didn't notice he wasn't playing because he's quite a tall. I thought he was the best player on the pitch, Crooks, when he played down our place. I thought he was brilliant. So yeah, I think that does add. Windass is just like his dad, isn't he? He's just a batter. But I think Darren Charles kicked him enough time, so do you know what I mean? But,
so there's the one guy I picked up from their team in next Saturday's programme is that new guy they got on the wing, Tariq Fosu Henry. Oh yes, he's the current League 2 Player of the Month.
Yeah,
I mean he's full of goals and assists, so we have to watch him. I think perhaps he's a very good spot by Coleman in terms of getting a lone player in at that stage of the season for the impact that he's had.
Is he the Pompey loan, Ray?
No, he's Reading.
Oh, okay. That's a weird connection, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Reading joined down to Accrington for a couple.
Yes. And his previous loan was at Fleetwood, so perhaps there's something in the air there, I don't know.
In terms of, I suppose, wrapping up, in terms of our team, on Saturday, Mayo got man of the match probably by miles, didn't they? Do you think anyone's pushed anyone that played the weekend has given themselves a chance to get into the teams of Saturday, or do you think it's very much we're going to go with what we have in terms of Tom Elliott and Lars Taylor up front? Jane?
So on the team, I think, as I said earlier, I think we've got such a big squad. We're in a really fortunate position. If something isn't working, we can change it. Like we did yesterday, we went from, was it 4-3-3 to 4-2, and just that change made such a difference, even though Bale was still playing that holding role. And he was man of the match, outstanding yesterday, and he changed the games at Stevenage as well when he came on, suddenly changed. And I just think we're in a really fortunate position. We've got multitudes of players that are fit at the moment, that are ready, some coming back, Will Nightingale and that able to come back. So if something isn't working, Neil can switch it around a little bit, and I know we haven't always been fans of whatever changes he's made. The changes he's made really, most recently have been really effective, I think. So I think we would probably start with who, you've probably named your first 11. We could all probably name the same team, but we'd have the same bench, and you could just interswap them as you needed to. Can I add one more thing, just going back to a bit of the discussion earlier? You were talking about how, whether we open the bars early for our home leg. Just so people are aware, there's an athletics meet on that day. So I know that they're talking about getting people, telling people that, getting them in early, making sure that we know that, there'll be limited car parking because it'll be on Sky, so all of the Sky vehicles will be in the car parks as well. So it will be a big game as we expect it to be, but, fans ought to just be aware to get there that little bit early anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I did hear that on Saturday, actually, that athletics, obviously, we're going into that sort of season, isn't it? Just sort of looking, I know all you, I know Nick wasn't, but I've recorded the speeches after the Man of the Match and the Player of the Year awards after the game yesterday. Nick, me and Nick and I were discussing this earlier, but interesting to get your thoughts. But I don't know about you, but I owned Accrington yesterday. Looked very relaxed, even during the game, smiling, joking around. I suppose you can read. I said earlier, you can read a couple of things into that. Whether he's enjoying the experience, his last Wembley experience with Northampton wasn't the greatest the way it ended, or do you think he's thinking now there's a swan song at Wimbledon, who's last point, and he's going to enjoy it because he looked really, really happy yesterday in terms of enjoying his game when he sat on the bench for so long. So do you think there's some messages in there, Ray? Do you think?
Could be, yeah. Perhaps a happy Bayo is a good Bayo, but I mean, we've all seen the last 2 or 3 games he's had, and he's been like a different player from perhaps what he was 2 or 3 months ago. I think perhaps a lot of people were prepared to sort of write him off for next season, but I think now perhaps if there's some sort of deal that could be struck, perhaps with him knowing that he might not be a regular starter, if he's happy with that, and if we're happy with that, perhaps he'll stay. I don't know. I mean, I know America was sort of touted during last summer, and it's cropped up again. But I mean, you know, if he's happy, we all saw his kids running around yesterday. That'd be a big move family-wise to take all of them over to the States, maybe for no more than a year. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's here again next season. And if he can stay in that sort of form, great. You know, whatever league we're in, 1 or 2, he'd be a real asset.
And I suppose what was interesting from yesterday, sort of going on, you mentioned about Bayo's family and that his son family. Did you notice yesterday that there was I don't know if you noticed this, Jane, but me and Nick sort of noticed it, that there was a sort of a battle between the children of the Bayos.
Girls won.
You had Barry Fuller's girls against Darius Charles' son, and then from the distance, Bayo's kids come in, and there was. You can imagine the kids are quite competitive. I wouldn't muck around. My money's actually on Barry Fuller's girls.
Yeah, the middle girl. I don't know her name. The middle one.
You don't take me for instance,
I'll tell you what, it was brilliant watching them actually. We were just right on the edge of the pitch, and when she was playing with the football and what have you, she was, you know, like doing tricks on those boys, and they were not happy about it. And then shooting into the goal as they were pulling the goal up, and the Chemflow ends were cheering her, and it was just a really lovely, you know, one of those moments where you go, no, that's what makes this club special.
It was also interesting to know that as well, if anyone's looking for a childminder sort of to look after their kids during match days, I hear that Carly Osborne does a very good job. He ended up looking after the Fuller girls and taking them to T-Bar at one point, and I saw him after the game, and I said, how was your day childminding? And he just laughed, you know, but it's just brilliant that everyone's just mucking in together at the moment, and it really does feel a brilliant atmosphere around the club at the moment, both on and off the pitch.
And do you know what, Paul, it's a good point actually. I have to say Carly Osborne's got the biggest grin. I think he's probably the biggest grin behind Bayo. I had a chance to meet him on Tuesday at the sponsors bill, and I have to say he was he couldn't stop smiling. He couldn't do enough. Very infectious. You can see why he's very well liked, and it's all got me thinking. You know, he's still at the club. He's still on loan, isn't he? There's some interesting decisions to make next year, but you're right. It just felt such a. I think yesterday highlighted how close the players are. You know, Barry Fuller would be close to tears when he was picking up his Players Player of the Year award, and I think he was very touched by that. Was it? I suppose Nick, was there any surprise really that people picked up the third year?
Barry won Players Player of the Year, yeah?
Yeah, Players Player of the Year was by Barry, but Players of the Year by the fans.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any surprise. You said earlier in the season with Barry Fuller sometimes we don't announce it for man of the match because you feel like he needs to get a 10 out of 10. Do you know what I mean? He has to do something outstanding to get noticed because you're always performing at such a high level, you almost take it for granted. And I think that probably sums it up really, doesn't it? It's just such a consistently high level for him every single game. Even yesterday when you think he might get a chance to have a bit of a rest, no, he's in there still, and he's still one of our standout performers, so can't have any arguments.
Yeah, God, I was just say, you were talking about Bayo earlier, and I think, I don't know whether you've seen it, but on the Dons Player there's an interview with Toyosi.
Brilliant.
And what comes across in that is that although Bayo has been on the bench, his presence in the dressing room and the professionalism that he's shown in all his interviews has just been really, really good. He's, you know, taken that boy under his wing and give him the ball, and I know that in the players awards after the game yesterday, he said that actually it was very full of suggestion that he give, and he asked him, he said, do you want the ball? And he went, yeah, and he gave him the ball and he took the penalty, and it was brilliant. But to have that confidence in somebody like that, and to have that mutual kind of mentoring respect was really good, and I think he's done a great job with lots of the younger players around the place.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, if I remember properly, Neil Hardy was saying that Mayo's taken more of a sort of managerial sort of help with him by guiding the players through. I don't know. I must admit, I was sort of thinking that I wasn't very surprised if Mayo left in the summer, but when he's on the pitch, he's so infectious with what he does. If the referees allow him to play, then he's an effective player. But I think there's some interesting decisions for him to make, Neil Hardy, during the summer. But yeah, I think Zosi was great. Took the penalty. It didn't look like he was too, but it was like he was just going to take a penalty in front of the training ground or something like that. There was no pressure at all.
It all happened very quick. I mean, I don't remember a penalty ever being taken that quick before, really.
Well, yeah, I think he got out of the way of, but
yeah.
Because the opposition
was quite interesting. I don't know if you saw it, but Bayo basically lifted him up on his arms about 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
With that, but it was a great celebration. But yeah, I think that sort of brings us to our ending, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll just say, just before we sort of sign off, and I would agree with you just quickly on that one, Jane, it was very quickly. I think it had more to do with the fact that there was fewer Wickham players just loitering in the penalty area for no reason, which meant the kick wasn't delayed. But just looking ahead to the week as well, we've all said that we expect that we'll get through into the final. We'll be playing at Wembley on Bank Holiday Monday. Ray will be facing Portsmouth or Plymouth.
I think Portsmouth, perhaps just based on how they played against us the other Tuesday night. I know Plymouth had a big win yesterday, but I think they've been faltering recently. Will Portsmouth be affected by the loss of Michael Smith? I don't know, but I quite fancy them to beat Plymouth over two legs. But I think if it came to a one-off final on a good big pitch, I wouldn't back against us either.
What about Jane? What do you reckon? Portsmouth or Plymouth?
I think it'll be Portsmouth.
Yeah.
I think Portsmouth will beat Plymouth. I think it'll be the same kind of setup. So a bit edgy in the first leg, and I think Portsmouth will pull it together in the second leg and beat them. And then it'll be us and them in the final.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm expecting as well. Paul, same?
Plymouth are at home in the Sunday 6 PM game, aren't they? Which will be a nice afternoon, I'm sure. But I wasn't impressed by Plymouth when we played them, and Portsmouth should go through fairly straightforwardly.
So Stu, final word?
Joe, I'm going to go against. I think Plymouth will get through it personally. My gut feeling is that I think having won yesterday and Pompey losing, I think the switch around to them being home last. I just have a sense that Plymouth may save their season as such because they've been doing so well, haven't they? I don't know. Pompey. I don't think Pompey know their best 11 sometimes. They've got quite a big squad. Michael Smith's been playing for quite a bit. He can't play for the playoffs. They've got some youngsters. I don't know if they know their best squad, and I wonder whether that may go against them. But I probably want Pompey for the money because if we're going to get to Wembley and lose, let's get as much money as we can.
Can I just say, so you're saying that Plymouth will get through, which would mean that, and if we get through, our first and last games of the 2015-16 campaign will be against Plymouth. So that'd be a really good sort of benchmark for how far we have actually come this year.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but like I say, Pompey for the money. If we're going to lose at Wembley, let's get as much money as we can out.
Cool. On that note, thank you very much, Jane, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray.
Okay, thank you, Nick.
And Paul, thank you very much as well.
Cheers as always, guys.
It's time for the birthdays game here on the 9 Years podcast.
May the 14th is a significant date in the history of Wimbledon's football club. Not including promotions to the First Division and relegations from the Premier League. Of course, it was the date we won the FA Cup back in 1988 and the day that the three-man FA Commission actually sat down to first discuss whether the green light would be given to a certain move to Milton Keynes. This Saturday, we host Accrington on the 14th of May in the first leg of our playoff semi-final. So as it's such a significant date in women's history, we thought we'd take all our birthdays this week from that date in history. Now, I attempted to do the usual, Stu, with sort of footballer, wrestler, famous person. We kind of managed it this week. It was a little bit tricky.
Okay.
So I'll start with the famous person who is Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg.
The person you can't help but see, because every time I go on Facebook, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm always invited to be his friend. Yeah, so you can't really not know who he is.
I don't get that message, funnily enough.
Do you not?
No, I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
I do get one from a Zach Muckerberg, whoever he is.
I haven't got a clue.
No idea.
He ain't that old, I don't think, because he's one of those young sort of. He's not a millionaire, is he? He's probably near a billionaire, isn't he? Probably or something. But
I think he owns the world.
Yeah. I reckon he's in his early 40s. Say about 42.
Do you know what? He's in his early 30s. He's
even worse.
32.
Oh, it makes you feel worse, doesn't it? 32 and he's...
I know.
Oh, bless him.
Oh, bless him.
Bless him, mate. That's an early age that he started his career.
Oh, no. He'll die young. I guarantee you that one.
He'll die happy, would he?
He will die happy. So, yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, 32. Now, this is where it gets a little bit dodgy. The footballer is former semi-professional footballer, but probably more well known for being on the X Factor, presenting the X Factor and getting things wrong on the X Factor. It is well known, famous for having no discernible talent, Ollie Mers.
How have you got him in as a footballer? I know he did the charity game, didn't he? England versus Germany thing they do for the Soccer Aid. I
think he used to play for South Woodham Ferrers or a team like that somewhere. He definitely used to play semi-professional football, and he probably was more talented as a footballer than he is at doing whatever he's employed to do now. Certainly not sing, because he can't sing.
Well, he's a sort of jack of all trades, isn't he, in a moment? So maybe he was one of those players, like maybe he was maybe he was in the mould of the Holland team where you could play every position as a footballer, maybe. Not very well.
Possibly.
He's not that old, I don't think. He must be 30s. He's not 20s, I don't think. I think he's 30s. So I don't think he's far away from old Zach there. I reckon he's probably about 31.
He is, at the time of recording, yes he is, but on May the 14th he will turn 32.
Oh, it's the same age as Zach. He got so much in common.
He is Mark, yeah. Yeah. So there you go. He is 32.
Zach's your mate. Sorry, Mark, isn't it?
Yeah, Mark is the actual one. I don't know how old Zach is.
Sorry.
Zach Muckerberg. I think he's like 45, I think. But yeah, so Ollie Mers can't sing, can't do anything else really, but is 32 years old this week.
Cool.
Wrestler is former world champion. This guy was awesome back in the day. It is Vader. Big Van Vader.
Vader?
Vader.
I thought we were talking Star Wars for a minute then.
Of course, there is Darth Vader in Star Wars. This was just Vader.
He's just so popular. He goes by his own name. He just goes by one name.
I think his name is Leon. If I'm right, I could get this wrong, I think his real name is Leon White, which is interesting because I think Leon White used to play for us in the CCL.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're the same person. For a start, one's white and one's black.
Okay. Yeah. Possibly. You're probably right there, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who he is, if I'm being totally truthful. So I reckon he's probably not too old because he's new, possibly. I would go for 26.
No. Sorry, do you want to have another go? I did say he was recently retired.
Damn. Yeah, well, he could have had a short career. Okay. 52.
Oh, it's not bad. He is, I have to do my quick maths here, 61.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
God, now you can go and star in Star Wars and hasn't got to change his name or anything.
Don't have to change his name, no. There you go. So those are May 14th birthdays for this Saturday. More exciting is, I'm sure you can hear this, that rustling of sticker books. Got stickers?
I have. I've got two.
So have I.
I haven't got any more. I haven't got any this week yet. I'm hoping my fiance will go into the local newsagents and buy some more for me. I don't feel like I can buy my own. Yeah.
Why don't you just wear like a weird coat and walk in on your knees and pretend you're like 12 years old?
Well, to be fair, Graham Ricks used to do that, but yeah, anyway.
Wow.
Wow.
Ouch. Okay.
Well,
moving on.
apparently, nothing that we definitely know, do you know what I mean? But all the songs surely were true.
I think you need to stop talking. I'm going to start opening my envelope just to move on.
Yeah, I've got one here. So just for the beauty of radio podcast radio, these are my stickers, trust me. And yes, I have got 2 swaps, by the way, isn't it?
Yeah, I might do some swaps with you. I've just opened my first packet. There's no one there of any interest, although I have got Chris Smalling. But do you know what? No shinies. Again, I was saying to you before, I've only had one shiny, the one I opened the other week. I've no shinies since then. It's not good.
Well, you are right. You've got nothing of interest there, mate. I have got loads of shinies, and I have also got the top half of the European Championship trophy.
Yeah, you've done well with that.
Which worries me because I put the top half in now, and I'm worried if I don't put the top half in right, it won't fit in the bottom half. That's
always a problem. If you can't get the top half right, then you're going to struggle to get the rest of it in.
I am. So that worries me. Oh, I've got another swap.
Another one.
I've got Arda Turan. He's another swap.
I might need that.
What have I got? I've got Murata from Spain. Yeah. I've got a Panini sticker. What's that? I have number 4.
Number 4?
That's like the FA Cup draw now, isn't it?
What's number 4?
It's just basically it's the sticker of a striker kicking the old black and white footballs.
Is that
hexagons? Is that right? They're balls.
Yeah. Is that like the mascot for the tournament or something?
Is it? I don't know. Let's have a look. Number 4. It doesn't say what number 4 is, but basically, yeah, I think it is. I don't know if it's a mascot, but basically that means I have 2 on the front page. I'm quite happy.
You've done well. I'm actually looking at the first few pages. I didn't realise there were so many. Okay.
And do you know what? I just realised you can create your own sticker.
Yeah, on the inside front cover, yeah.
How cool is that?
Well, yes, I guess.
They don't give away that it's my sticker album, so that would make it even worse.
Oh, yeah. I think you have to finish. I don't think you have to finish it, but I think if I was going to do that, I'd finish my album first and then do it.
Yeah.
All complete, do you know what I mean?
Definitely. So, yeah, I've got him. I've got another Barcelona player. I've got Marc-Andre Ter Stegen.
Testiclin?
No, Marc-Andre Ter Stegen.
Testiclin?
I can't pronounce that. He's a Barcelona number 2. Or in European Championships, he's in the European Champions League, he's their number 1. I think that's how they do it. They swap their goalkeepers for tournaments.
Very nice.
Good luck to them. They can do that.
I've just got another packet. I've got some
one more. Last one. Open him.
I've got another swap of Martin Skirtle, but I've also got Arda Turan, which I think is a Vauxhall estate make of car, isn't it? The Turan.
Well, here's the swap I just had. So I haven't got a swap now for you.
No, Arda Turan. Oh, hold on, but I've got that sticker 425. It might be slightly different.
That's the players. That's where they
the star
do the lineup, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 419. So actually, I do have a swap for you.
There you go. Well, I'll swap you that for Martin Skirtle then.
Happy days. Did you say you've got the Skirtle?
That's what I just said to you.
Cool. Because I think I've got him, but I think I've got him. Is that in an action shot or is that as a sticker?
As a sticker. It's number 216.
I try to remember now who Skirtle plays for. Okay.
Liverpool.
Yeah, but it's a European game, so actually,
Slovakia, isn't it?
Is it Slovakia? What number is he?
For Liverpool, I think he's number 5.
In a sticker album, please.
216.
216. Let's have a look. And of course, this is even better podcast for all you people there who haven't even got the sticker album in front of you, because you're just thinking we're just taking numbers out of the top of our head.
Yeah, but they're also probably pressing record. Fast forward.
No, that's the button that's banned when you're listening to us.
Yeah.
Where is he? No, I don't have that one. So yes, thank you very much.
We'll swap Turan for Skirtle. There you go.
Cool. So my one I've got. Oh crikey, I've got a clue. He is. Cheleski, Turkish. Not important. I'm going to get far in the tournament.
No.
I've got one from hell here. I've got a Polish one, Masinski.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, David Cottrell, that's better.
We can manage with that one.
Although, so I just saw Birmingham City FC England, and I think, no, he's not England, he's got a Welsh top on. I get it, that's his English club.
Yeah, that's his English club, there you go.
And I've got a really unhappy looking Josic Jermic, who plays for Switzerland.
Probably because he plays for Switzerland.
Probably. Oh, surprise. Martin Skirtle.
You are kidding me.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, wow.
He looks proper mean in that. He's had a proper shave as well.
So do you want... Well, we have to change it. Do you want... I've got other swaps.
Yes.
Do you want Adam Lallana?
No, I think I've got him.
Oh, wow. Anton Griezmann?
Yes, I think so. I can have him.
There you go. Sorted then. Done.
Cool. Well, tell you what I'll do, just to make sure, just to make the playoff semi-final first leg at the Cherries Record Stadium even more interesting, we will do our swaps before the game.
We shall do. We shall photograph this for prosperity as well.
Happy days.
If
cool.
I can say the word photograph.
I've done better with my words of pronunciation for my foreigners.
Yeah, you did actually, to be fair.
I'm quite liking this. I don't know if I'm going to have it. I'm a bit worried I'm not going to have it complete by the time the European Championship starts.
No, there's no chance. You keep doing it during it, though, it's fine. Plus, it's an expanded tournament this year, so there's more time.
Yes, there is. Loads of teams this year, aren't there?
It's 24. It's ridiculous, but there you go. There we go. Right. Well, I think that brings us to the end then this week, Stu.
Cool.
No fun's over with. We'll sign off. We'll say to everyone listening, enjoy Accrington Stanley on Saturday evening. And hopefully... Oh, no, what we do need to say is... I was going to say, hopefully this time next week. There won't be this time next week. Because next week, we won't be releasing our podcast on Thursday. Because the playoffs, only second leg is on the Wednesday. Going to make it a bit tricky for us to do a Thursday morning podcast. So next week, the podcast will be released on Friday, okay? So change calendars, change the reminders on your phone. Next edition of the 9 Years podcast will be instead of coming out on Thursday, it'll be on Friday the 20th? Friday the 20th of May.
I think that by then. But then it could be later, to be fair, because if we're celebrating, there's no guarantee we get it done the next day. So, we should be done by Friday.
We'll get something out by Friday, one way or another. And yeah, so see you next Friday. Enjoy 2 legs against Accrington Stanley. And hopefully next time we speak to you, we'll be planning our trip to Wembley. See you next week.